So I've just done a video on being censored again, and it's really put me into a real stinker of a mood, because it's so depressing that we can't speak freely. We really can't, and so I'm in a bit of a it leaves a really sour taste in your mouth. It really makes you think, what the heck is going on? Why is YouTube sponsoring free speech? And again, and I've mentioned this other times, yes, there does need to be an amount of censorship on these publicly available platforms. So I'm not saying that there isn't a need for some censorship, some control, because unfortunately, the internet and everything that sits on the internet, it does attract criminal activity. And what I'm finding out is that criminal activity is an awful lot more than we realise. And in terms of direct finance-related criminal activity, people wanting to steal money, and they're using the internet and every possible way possible to defraud somebody and steal money. That happens, but also there are lots of I'm going to call it criminal activity, but actors that wish to install narratives to achieve a negative outcome. So that's your misinformation, disinformation, and campaigns that are there to harm a people or governments or agencies. So all that goes on, and that's really bad news. It's the thing that Elon Musk is bothered about with Twitter and the twit bots, and Twitter claim that the bot accounts is possibly 5% of all the accounts on Twitter. But I think Elon Musk's investigation, as the advice that he's taken and the people that advise him, I think they're indicating that 20% of the accounts of the on Twitter, can be or are these bot accounts, and bot accounts seem to be there to achieve hidden agenda or other agenda, or to sway opinion, or to unfairly market something. So all this stuff is a nuisance, really. So my point is that some legitimate censorship is absolutely fine. I suppose it's like a policing of the internet, and yes, to a degree, we need some policing, because the internet is also a means that the police agencies, they use the internet to locate criminals, so that's not a bad thing. And and I fully support that, actually. If crime agencies are able to prevent crime or catch criminal activity on the internet, that should be fully supported. So I suppose this comes into the sphere of censorship, and having an amount of having a body that controls what happens on the internet, and also is able to access information that is helpful towards solving crimes. So yes, my point is some censorship and some policing of the internet is absolutely fine, and we need it. So once again, I'm not a person saying, hey, we need to be decentralized and completely free, so that absolutely anything can happen and be said. I'm not saying that, and not at all, because I think human beings and society, human behavior has proved that when people are left to their own devices, unfortunately, a lot of the time, we do tend to let ourselves down, corporately as a body of people. We are not that reliable when we're left alone. Small amounts of what's the word? Small amounts of ownership. That's not the word I'm thinking of. The word that responsibility. That's the word. An amount of responsibility, personal responsibility, is needed. Accountability. That's the other word. We do need to be accountable for our actions, and and we can't always be right. And often we make mistakes, and often we say things that are incorrect. Often we say things that are incorrect and misguided, and that might not be our fault personally, because the information that we are sourcing, could be skewed and incorrect, and we might have received that opinion that way, and that might have been the intention of the originator of that information anyway. So these things are quite complicated to work out and fully understand. And when we all access information via whatever media it is, it might be traditional press, the newspaper, magazines. There could be a reason why a news article or a business piece has been written. And some of the time, the piece is just to the best of the writer's ability, accurate. So I suppose it raises this question about accuracy and truth. And I'm a big believer that the lack of accuracy and the lack of truth is the single thing that causes us individually a lot of problems. But it also causes business and industry an awful lot of problems, because if a business service or a product is lacking truth, is lacking its ability to work, or has been misrepresented, again, that's why we have the Sale of Goods Act, and it can also apply to services. That causes trouble. I often find that if we individually and corporately focus on accuracy of information and accuracy of facts, it tends to dissolve the possibility of a negative outcome, or it dissolves the possibility of failure or frustration, or people being sued and companies being taken to court, that sort of thing. It's just much better if we are honest about everything. I suppose my bias here is business. So in business, there will be marketplace, and there are different different areas of that market. So there might be a product like motor cars, for example, and there are cheap motor cars, and there are medium cost motor cars, and then there are very expensive motor cars. Now, all these motor cars actually take human beings from point A to point B. So they are, as described, fit for purpose. And but you can spend £10,000 on a new motor car, or you can spend £10 million on a new motor car. It's just a rough example of, you can't say. Actually, you could say so the truth about the £10,000 car is, hey, this car is fantastic value because it will take you from A to B, and it's very, very cheap, which means that we have used cheap materials, and it might not last as long as a more expensive car, but the car is great value because it does what we say it will do. It does what it says on the tin. Now, the sales and marketing words for a car that's £10 million is going to be a little bit different, because it might not openly talk about its value, but it might say, this is a premium high-end product. when somebody says premium high-end, what they mean is this is expensive. But then you have to explain why it's expensive. So, the expensive car will be, this is premium high-end. There are only 8 of these on planet Earth. And we might make a 9th and a 10th, but it is exclusive. It's high-end premium. The car's been built with the most premium materials that we have to offer. It has the best performing engine. It has the best performing technology. It's the most comfortable. It has all these additional accessories, etc., etc. So here my explanation, my point is accuracy of information and truth. And as long as you are providing accuracy of information of truth, business goes really well. The person that's buying a cheap car parts with their money, they receive the product, and they are happy that it only lasts 3 years before it has to go to the garage and be repaired. The person that spent £10 million on their very fancy car, they're also very happy that it has to go into the garage and be maintained, and this can go wrong and that can go wrong, because right at the beginning they were informed of all the details, the accuracy of information. So that's how it works. But when you claim that this car is the best thing since sliced bread, or that the very expensive car will never ever break down, that accuracy of information is not accurate, and there's the problem. Well, the problem is inevitable. So it's just good to tell the truth, because telling the truth, the benefits of it sort of sell themselves. Tell the truth, your life will be easier. I think that works. I think that works every time. It is a shame that governments can't tell the truth, and large organizations can't tell the truth. And I'm thinking of the large organizations that have been in the news over the last 2 years. They don't seem to be able to tell the truth at all. And some of them want 78 years to tell the truth. So that's interesting. Yeah. So whenever you detect a person or a business is withholding information or presenting information in a very economical way, or they are just plainly avoiding providing information, or the information that they do provide you just don't believe, that is the indicator that something is wrong. And I would go with your gut feeling on that whenever that happens, because the gut feeling when you've received the truth is also very clear. When somebody tells you, Teslas are cool, yeah, get into a Tesla and drive it and you're going to like it, for most people that's exactly what they experience. Or when somebody says to you, if you're spending a lot of money on a wristwatch, buy a Rolex watch. They are great. I can't say great value because a lot of people won't think that. But when somebody says buy a Rolex, they are expensive, but they're very good quality. They have a great brand name. They last a long time. Those attributes would be very accurate and would form part of the reasoning, the actual reasoning that a person makes that purchase. So yeah, I suppose this talk, I am this walk and talk that we're on, it just appears that we are chatting about truth and accuracy, and what I'm going to assert is that always truth and accuracy is a good thing. what's just jumped into my mind there is, courts, law courts, criminal cases and civil cases. What's really required in a court process is literally both parties simply recounting truth, simply providing accurate information, and then the court takes an unbiased view, measures the evidence, and arrives at a measured view and conclusion. And if it's criminal, because that behaviour of the individual is to a degree antisocial, courts have to do something about it, which tends to mean they, if it's a crime that's serious, that individual has to be removed from society so they don't do it again, and the prison service is supposed to offer rehabilitation to varying degrees. So if it's criminal, the courts are brought in because they want to stop that criminal behaviour because it harms other people. So that's the reason, that's the outcome they're trying to achieve. But first of all, they have to assess and get accurate information and evidence that crime, happened, and it was happened by the person who is accused. Now, in a civil case, it's generally more to do with wrongs against a person, and most of the time these wrongs are by accident. So a company doesn't deliver a service to a customer, and it's not always the company's fault, but the legal courts are brought in to establish the facts and to determine proportional judgment, because many times if it's very disputable, both sides think that they are right, and so the legal process brings in a third party that's equipped to be discerning and determine to a degree who is more right than the other. That's roughly how it works. So again, truth and accuracy seems to be a thing that sells itself. I can't think of any situation where lies, deceit and inaccurate information ever produce a positive. They just don't. I suppose that somebody might argue that there can be little white lies, so a person doesn't want to hurt another person's feelings, so they might tell a little white lie. And I suppose that's the one situation where not telling the truth might be justified, because it's in context and it's measured. And I suppose sometimes we might tell little lies, or they're called little white lies. And I suppose we're human beings, we can go easy on ourselves, and we're not always we don't always have to be serious and and be boring and legalistic about everything. Anyway, I was just trying to find an argument for telling a lie, and that's the only one I can think of. Anyway, it's already starting to get warm here, and I don't know if you can see the heat, but it's early morning and it's already heading towards the late 20s, and I think we're going to be touching the 30s again today, so it's warm. And I do find that if I try and do these videos past about 11 a.m. or between 10 and 11, my brain stops working, so that's when I tend to go inside and work there, but I try to get this sort of stuff done in the morning when I've had a cup of coffee. Well, actually it tends to be 2 cups of coffee, and I feel the I've just been bitten. I feel the caffeine, kickstart me, and I can talk to camera like this, but I'm telling you right now, I'm already going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this video, and in the next moments try and think of something interesting and inspirational, and also a positive. As you know, when I make these videos, I try to make them positive at the end, or to pull out the positives. And the positives are, once again, that we human beings, there is a large part of us that is very good and loving and caring. And the positive is that we should all focus on that bit of us a bit more. And we should all focus on that bit inside other people a bit more. And I think that's what we should do. We should all... Whoops, I just stood on something sharp there. We should all be searching for a positive disposition within us and within each other. And that's the bit that we should be focusing on and trying to engage with. And we should all strive to be better and to make our days better. And we should all want to help other people, even for the sake of it, without expectation of reward. Because what that does is it opens up the possibility for improvement and opportunity where you haven't even thought about it. So that's why it's a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to say ciao for now, and I hope everyone is well, and I wish you all a very good day.